Our devotional thought from the Old Testament today begins in the book of Exodus, chapter 24. It's what I would call Joshua's introduction to the presence of God. You've often heard me teach that one of the ways we recognize the next generation of spiritual leaders is not because of their charisma, not because they're the cool dude. I think everybody's getting tired of the cool dudes. But we recognize the next generation because they're the ones that stay in the presence even when everybody else leaves. Now, I usually teach that to you from Exodus chapter 33, verse 11. Inside the tent of meeting, the Lord would speak to Moses face to face as one speaks to a friend. And afterward, Moses would return to the camp, but the young man who assisted him, Joshua, son of Nun, would remain behind in the tent of meeting. So notice with me, you look to young leaders who love the presence of God. It's not that they love the platform. They don't love being in front of people. They don't want to be the decision makers. They love the presence. That's where you find the next generation of leaders. But in our text today, we see where this began with Joshua. Maybe we can call this Joshua's first encounters with the presence. Exodus 24, beginning with verse 9. Then Moses, Aaron, Nadab, Abihu, and 70 elders of Israel climbed up the mountain. There they saw the God of Israel. Under his feet there seemed to be a surface of brilliant blue lapis lazuli, as clear as the sky itself. And though these nobles of Israel gazed upon God, he did not destroy them. In fact, they ate a covenant meal, eating and drinking in his presence. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Come up to me on the mountain. Stay there, and I will give you the tablets of stone on which I have inscribed the instructions and commands so you can teach the people." Now look at verse 13. So Moses and his assistant Joshua set out, and Moses climbed up the mountain of God. Now later on, when he goes back up to get the tablets the second time, he says, "Come alone." But this time, the first time, Joshua, his assistant, went with him. Now you just think of what he had seen. As his assistant, he was there. He saw the God of Israel. He saw God seated on his throne. He saw them eat a covenant meal in the presence of God. And now he goes up on the mountain. And for 40 days and 40 nights, he encounters the glory of God as Moses' assistant, receives the tablets, because Joshua talks to Moses on the way back down about the people are out of control. So he was there the whole time. Now, beloved, I look at that and then I look at Solomon. Solomon heard the voice of God. Solomon saw the fire of God come down. Solomon had an incredible encounter with God, but it never seemed to create a thirst in his heart for more. He was willing to, that was a great experience, and move on with life. Joshua is different. It seems that Joshua was a man who learned to love the presence. If the next generation of leadership is going to pick things up and do greater things than this generation, young men and young women, it's not about being on the platform. It's not about charisma. It's not about being the cool dude. It's about loving the presence.